Hello, everyone, and welcome to our table discussion. Today, we'll talk about our experience in teaching practice, what we learned from language acquisition theories, and our impression of the Agra events. I am Paula Sanchez, and I am joined by Cesar Flores, Maria Almanza, and Juan Jimenez. Let's start with the first question. What was the most rewarding aspect of your pedagogical practice experience?
For me, the most regarding aspect was seeing how, despite the technological and pedagogical difficulties, the students respond with interest to the activities in English, especially when I was able to integrate digital resource or more dynamic approaches.
I am still not I practice in practice teaching many students, but I practiced all the course topics with my brother and cousins. So the best part was seeing how the creative activities really helped them learn English better. For example, when I tried things like telling animated stories, they understood them, and in the course of the talks, they were no longer ashamed to talk about the story. It was impressive to see them gain confidence and use language in real life.
For me, the most rewarding part was understanding how theory connects to real classroom situations. Observing the class helped me see how teachers apply different strategies in practice. It was also very satisfying to design tuition materials and lessons plans. I learned how to create activities that support learning objectives and are adapt to a student's level.
Okay, for me, I know job teaching, but I'm not used to recourse in the course. I consider us a vital to positive relationship with the students and create a new entertaining strategic to enable learning in the progress in the classroom.
Now, let's move on to the second question. How did your understanding of language acquisition theories evolve during the course? What did you learn?
So, because I had a very general idea about how language is learned. But now I have a much better understanding of how theories like a communicative approach and meaningful learning can be applied in real life context. I learned that learning a second language isn't just about repeating structures, but rather creating opportunities for students to use the language authentically.
Before this class, I thought that language learning consisted mainly of memorizing vocabulary and rules. But now I understand that it's much more about meaningful interaction and context. Krashen's hypothesis made me realize that students need material they really understand, not just textbooks. And because kids and CPD help me say my group, coworkers, and can teach each other better than my sometimes.
At the beginning of the course, I didn't know much about how people learn a second language. But as I studied different theories, I started to understand how important things like motivation, interaction, and input are. For example, Crashing theory that made that students learn better when they receive understandable language and feel comfortable. I also learned that every student is different, so we need to use different strategies to support their learning.
Okay, the truth, the course my understanding on the language acquisition theories depends significantly. At first, I sought abstract concepts, but through practical application, come to appreciate the relevance in the classroom. Bukowski has helped me structure thoughts more effectively, and also began to evaluate the role of inner interpretation and social context in learning, recognizing that language education is not only cognitively but also unsocial.
Thank you. Now let's talk about the AGRA event. Which innovate activity showcased in the poster at the AGRA event did you find most effective for teaching and learning English?
Yeah, the, the activity that most impacted me was one that integrated the use of artificial intelligence, primarily an application in which you can talk to an AI. I find it very useful in the field of education as a tool for working on vocabulary and speaking skills. I found it very effective because it connects with students' real interests, promotes collaborative work, and at the same time strengthens their communication skills in English.
I honestly like it, the 3D posters to gain confidence, motivations, and influence it. I like it because it was very dynamic with activities like creating a digital character to reduce fear of mistakes and improper pronunciation. The drama was very organized and creative.
I think one of the most effective activities was Speak with AI, where students practices conversation with chatbots. It's a dynamic way to improve speaking skills and receive immediate feedback with pressure.
Okay. Um, One particularly effective activity was to use digital storyline through videos and create by students. This method integrates oral expression, reading, and creativity, encouraging students to practice English in a meaningful and engaged way.
Let's finish with the last question. What is your evaluation and reflection regarding the products presented at the Agora meeting?
I found it a very enriching space because it allowed me to see how each student teacher faced their challenge creatively. Some products demonstrate great technological mastery, other others have very strong pedagogical capacity. Overall, it became clear to me that there are many ways to innovate in English teaching, even with limited resource. If you have good pedagogical intention and know your students well.
For me, all the projects were very good and beautiful. The gravity with the posters was amazing. My rating is 100. The implementation plans and benefits they had on each student were very good.
The activities present in the posters were very innovative and creative. For example, using AI chatbots for conversation practice is a modern strategy that can help students feel more confident when speaking in English, as it reduces the fear of making mistakes.
Again, the products present at the Agora meeting demonstrate a high level of creativity and pedagogical vision. Many projects reflect an emphasis on a student-centered approach and task-based learning. I was particularly impressed by the integration of technology and real-world tasks, which made the lesson more relevant and motivating for students. Reflecting on the text products gave us clear vision of future teachers. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for your contributions. Also, we didn't work directly with students. This experience helped us understand what it means to be a teacher, how to apply language acquisition theories, and how to design effective activities. We look forward to continuing to grow as future English teachers. Thank you for your watching our film.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.